Oh, it is Thursday, which means we get to talk about our favorite tools. And we have a full slate of guests today, including Heather and Dr. V and John, who honestly is on the show so much. I don't think he's ever really missed one and it's probably more his show than mine. So congratulations, John. You're the I don't know if I'm your Ed McMahon or you're my Ed McMahon, but one or the other.
I think
We're in
I'm
for
more
it,
your
buddy.
Ed
You and
McMahon,
me.
but it's all
So
good.
who looks the most like Ed McMahon? That's a good question for the audience.
Oh, I don't no,
I
don't
sure
answer
hope they
that.
don't vote for me.
Don't answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone vote for Heather. That'll be fine. Okay, so on Thursday we go over tools. We have the very awful name for it of Tools Thursday, and people show up with everyone here is in business for themselves and is in oftentimes marketing or sales to some degree. If you're in business for yourself, of course you're in marketing or sales to some degree. And they come with some of their favorite tools that they use on a daily or weekly basis. And so they're going to point out one or two of their favorites, why they love them so much. And if there's time, I'll go over a couple from an upcoming creativity little mini course that I've created for folks but haven't released yet. And if we don't get to mine, it's no problem. We'll get to it some other time. So you weren't able to make it, I think, last week, Heather. So ladies first, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm still trying to set up my crisp so that you don't hear sawing in the background.
Well, we don't hear it right now.
Okay, well, I know it's about to start.
Because he stopped.
So I'm going last. I'm going to say
You're
at
gonna go
least second,
last?
if not
All
last.
right. Dr. V, I think you've only got one, right?
I got one, but it's a
Yeah.
big one.
Go for it.
It's good.
All right. So my favorite tool that I use every single gosh darn day. Let me see if I can. I was going to share the regular screen. We're getting a little inception here right now. Actually, you know what? Maybe just do the Chrome tab. That's easier. That way you don't have to suffer.
There you go.
There we go. So is Canva. Oh my God.
Canva.
I am a Canvaholic, if there is
Yeah,
such
you
a
and my
thing.
wife, buddy.
Oh my gosh. Well, we should get together and form a little club. People who know Dean and are Canvaholics. So what I like about Canva is that the versatility, and it has expanded so dramatically over the last
Okay,
6
so I'm going
to
to
9
stop you
months.
right there.
Yeah.
Because you and John often make the same mistake. You've used these tools and they're,
Oh,
Canva's
we
not
assume
new,
that
we know.
everybody knows. Okay.
So everybody knows what is Canva and what can it do for someone, and then talk about why you like it.
Okay. All right. Besides the fact that they're supporting Ukraine up here,
Sure.
Canva is it's really a media creation platform. I used to say it was just a graphics platform, but it's a place that used to be where you would just create memes and maybe you edited photos and things along those lines.
Right.
But has become something that allows people who are not graphic designers to do some design work. And typically in years gone by, it was something that you could, as an average Joe entrepreneur or small business person, create some graphics, maybe logos, maybe some memes, maybe edit your photos, and then pass them along to a full-fledged professional graphic designer. And it has evolved so much over the past few years that now it becomes almost an all-in-one design tool for just about anyone to use. And because it's so easily accessible and fairly intuitive, you can create some amazing things within here, not just static images, but you can also edit videos, make slide presentations, and John and I have even created a commercial, a 15-second, 30-second, 60-second commercial for a client using the elements contained within Canva.
So I think Canva's main theme is you make stuff that other people are going to look at. And if you can use a mouse, you can use Canva.
Correct. In this case, live streaming, if you can use a mouth, you can use Restream. Okay. So here, I use the Pro version. There's a lot of stuff you can use in the free version,
right,
that is really great. So if you don't want to fork over whatever it is now, $12.95 or $12 a month, you can do a lot of stuff for free. But the advantages that you have in Canva going Pro is you have access to a lot of royalty-free images, a lot of royalty-free videos, and even royalty-free music which is astonishing to me.
Right.
Because I don't know about you, but I've often paid a lot of money for royalty-free music to use in YouTube videos and other places. And of course, in your home area, there are templates that you can use. You can do things like create Instagram stories and posts and Facebook stuff. You can do, I mean, got a wedding, you can create invitations. In business, the presentations thing is really amazing. I actually like it sometimes better than Keynote because there's a little cursor, a little blue dot cursor that you can move around that sometimes is easier to follow than an arrow. And of course, in terms of marketing, there are flyers, infographics, brochures, all kinds of stuff. I have barely tapped the resources within Canva, but it has become my daily tool. It really has been. I mean, maybe I skip Sundays,
So
but for
is
the
it fair
most
to
part,
say that you create a lot of different types of things, and it's
yeah,
pretty rare that you can't just go to Canva and get it done?
correct. Yes,
Okay.
thank you for
And I
the
guess I should point
clarification.
out for anyone who's not familiar with the term or has seen it but not really dug into it, royalty free means that
Mm,
whoever created something in the first place, a photograph, music, whatever, has been paid for it and and given and provided a license to somebody. And in a
right.
case like Canva or a music streaming service or Envato does a lot of this Epidemic Sound. Basically, how it works is they've paid the license for you, and your paid subscription includes your right to use that property in your own stuff, as long as you don't go crazy with it or try to sell it
Yeah,
yourself.
to a limited extent, because if you're using it for commercial purposes, like
Yeah.
something like a TV ad, for example, you probably will wind up paying additional money for
Yes.
a wider license.
But making something for your LinkedIn post or
Not a
something like
problem.
that, you're never going to run into trouble.
No. And so, you can see recent designs will pop up. It depends on how you want to arrange your homepage. You can arrange it by folders, which I'm not really great at, but I will, for example, be doing memes for a couple of clients, for chiropractors. I have, I do a lot of social posting. This
Right.
is, for example, a video that we've been doing. It's you don't see the whole thing in the video because there is music playing within here. Um, and there's somebody here. It's John Paduchek with the RV Goodness Podcast. So that's a podcast cover we've been playing with and working with. We have our agency here. So I will work on favicons and larger different types of applications for logos, for example. Occasionally somebody may ask for a chicken, and so I will give them a chicken.
So if you are going to sort of give one takeaway for folks before we
So
move on
one
to the next
takeaway would
tool.
be I think one takeaway would be that there's a lot of special effects that you can create within Canva to make your stuff stand out. Even things like, for example, for our agency, which has changed its name a little bit. Oh, see, this is the problem with Restream and other things.
Yeah.
It's just a slow thing to share something. I'll just show you just a quick example here. You can take a particular element and you can make multiple versions of it. So we've actually changed to Epic Wind Media for our
Right.
agency. But I mean, you can see all your drafts from the past, and you can see all the mistakes that you've made by trying to squeeze too much information, things like that. But it does give you a history. It's almost like a journal of your creativity over time.
So
And
it's I
I'm
should
just a
put that
big
in the
fan.
chat, I guess. It's canva.com,
Canva.com.
and they
And
have
we
a
don't
free
have any
version,
affiliate
so there's
links.
nothing to lose to go poke around.
No, just poke around. I was trying to get out of my
Okay. All right. Who's
sharing
next?
here. Where
Oh,
am
I
I?
can just turn it off.
Yeah, there it is. I can turn it off too. Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready,
Okay,
and I'm
I
between
love
Sandy.
Canva.
go
Love
for
me
it.
some Canva.
I first have to say I also love Canva. I will say it's if you can scrape together the money, it's affordable. Don't mess around with the free version, because my biggest complaint about the free version is when you want to search through the graphics, they've sprinkled in which ones are free and which ones are paid, and about 5% of them are free. And so the hunt just for what's free, you can't filter by what's free.
Right.
So if you value your time, it's worth the money to just go in there. And if you're doing anything at all in marketing, like it's just everything, the templates are fantastic. So especially I deal a lot with solopreneurs and freelancers where, like, if you're not a graphic designer, this is the way in to get you use a template, right? A graphic designer made that template for you. You don't have to be a graphic designer. You just put your own logo colors in, etc. So,
And there's no contract, so you can like upgrade to the
yeah.
pro version for a month and then cancel it, go back to the
I've
free
done it.
version because you don't
I
need it that
actually
month.
did that. I actually
Yeah,
did
of
that in
course.
the past. Yeah.
That's how a lot of people use Netflix and HBO Max and stuff. They wait till the show they want to see is done with all its new episodes, subscribe for a month, binge watch it, let the service go.
Yep.
Pick it up again in a few months. Okay, what are we looking at, Heather?
Okay, our first one is just a fun one. I'm going to give you the link in our private chat, Dean, so you can put it in for everybody,
Okay.
anybody and everybody. So this is a great place to play if you're looking to develop a logo, especially, again, if you're not a graphic designer, if this isn't your wheelhouse. It's a great way to get inspiration. Even if you don't end up with a logo here, if you find the ones you like and you come up with some samples that you like, and then you hire someone to do your logo, the first thing happens when you hire somebody to do something is like, what do you want, right? If you can give them some examples of things you like, they can take it to the next level. So I like playing in here. I thought it was fun. They'll ask you some different industry questions. And so for GoGoDone, I put in my business, GoGoDone. I will say internet, because we're an online community. I don't know if they have online community in there. And then it tells you to pick some logos you like. So again, although we might not be graphic designers, when we think about our business, we know what we like. This is like shopping. Everybody knows how to online shop. And you go through and you online shop and say, which one feels like my business? And maybe I like the little creatures, and I like the Surefire, and I like the Nail Hub. Here we go. So these are my favorites, and I move on. I know my logo colors. If you don't, you could just pick some that you like, but mine are the stoplight colors. And I can add a logo. So here we go. Might be hard to read. Try shortening it. I obviously have been here before. For the purposes of time, we're not going to shorten it. And then pick some symbol types. So internet, web. We don't do web design. We're online, global, right? See how it's just like leading me by the nose through it.
Yeah.
And connection. Here we go. And then they've generated some logos for me. And then you can go through and decide which ones you want, and you can start customizing and so on. And so I think it's just a really nice place to play as you're trying to figure out, what your logo looks like. And of course, you want me to sign up and all of that. We're just looking for
to follow up on colors. And I just came across this site this week from one of the guys I like to talk to very often, Stephen Rowell. If you click on 12 brand archetypes and just answer like a little bit of a quiz, it's sort of like a personal brand archetype, but that's okay. What it'll do is, besides giving you sort of like a PDF with all the 12 different types, it includes a color scheme that, for color theory and evoking the kind of sort of feel that you like to do. It only takes maybe, 90 seconds to do the quiz. You get the PDF, you scroll down to whichever one it said you were, but there's your color scheme. And very often you probably agree with the color scheme.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to have to click on that and save that one. My next one is a blog title generator by SEO Presser. And so if you are looking to, I know I talked last time or 2 weeks ago about CoSchedule's headline analyzer. So hopefully you play with that a little bit. You get kind of good at knowing what you're looking for, but you could do a blog title generator and then put in if it's a generic term or if you're doing an event or a location, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to do just a generic term, and it's going to generate titles for me. I wouldn't just blindly go forth with this one. You got to be an active consumer and know your business and know what you're really talking about. But so often it's the blank page that gets us and getting started and deciding what we like and what we don't like, similar to the logos. Like, you don't have to start with a blank page. Start here and you'll know what you like and what you don't like. And you might end up generating your own, but this gets you started. So 7 ugly truths about productivity, 10 taboos, right? And you go through and you're like, yep, I could write a blog post on this one. So another kind of fun one to play around with and to avoid that blank page paralysis. And then the last one I wanted to bring up, especially because you brought up Buffer, which I think, or Buffer, you brought up Canva, which I love. If you're not ready for Canva or you just want to play somewhere else a little bit, I think that the company Buffer does social media scheduling and analytics and all of that. They have this little free tool that I used for a long time before Canva was as big as it was. And what's great is you come in here into the search feature, and I'm going to search for freedom, and it's going to give me a bunch of pictures that are royalty free that match the search term freedom. And I'm going to come in and put this happy person in there. And you can see up here in the upper right, you can format it for Pinterest, Instagram, or Facebook and Twitter. I find Facebook and Twitter works pretty well on LinkedIn if you're doing that. And then it will default to a light contrast overlay. You can make it heavy and so on and so forth. It does light contrast, white text. You just click in here and you can say, set yourself free.
Nice.
And if you want to, you can put your logo on there. So you see my little Go Down logo. You just click and drag, and I can increase the size, right? And then I can put more text on there if I want to, and say more things. And you can see how it's very click, drag, turn things on, turn things off. So really low tech and a really nice route to go. And it lets you publish it straight to social, but you can also download it, which I always recommend that you download it,
Right.
so that you can repurpose it. And that's just this little share and download, and you can send it, but I always just hit download and pull it down. And so you're royalty free. Click and drag. You can edit your, it doesn't give you, one of the things I actually like about Pablo is it doesn't give you that many choices. And so there's another form of paralysis. Like I have 20,000 fonts. How do I pick one? This is like, you got like 20 choices, and you can bold and change the sizes. You can change the color, etc., but only so many choices. So this is, graphic designers everywhere would pull their hair out, but those of us who are like, I just need something that looks all right, that has my logo on it, and it's just this click and move. So it's a nice spot to go for a quick graphic that you have a lot of easy control on, that doesn't take a lot of technical skills to manage. So that's pablo.buffer.com. Let me grab these for the, I'll stop my share, but I'll grab those for the chat.
And John, what you got?
I got all kinds of fun stuff today. Let me first see if I can share my screen here with you. All right. Maybe. There we go.
Not here yet.
All right. So one of my favorites that I learned about from Andy Jenkins eons ago is Filmic Pro. And for those of us that have iPhones, it is the kind of app that a lot of commercial film studios make Hollywood films out of.
Yeah.
It changes your camera around, gives you a lot of additional settings. Unfortunately, I can't show it because it's an iOS app, but there's also an app that goes along with it, or that is similar to it, that works with Android. And like I said, they have shot several cinema movies with it. And so one of my favorite apps to actually shoot video with on the iPhone.
So, folks, I happen to know this app because I've had it for, I think, as soon as it came out. So many years now. The main concept behind Filmic Pro is that, especially for things on an iPhone or any Apple platform, is they are deliberately simplified so that the user experience is very uniform and easy, and no one feels confused too much when they open up an Apple app. And Apple either hides all the complexity and customization stuff behind a little bit of a menu wall, and you either have to know how to get to it, or they just don't include it, even though the capability is there in the camera in this case. What Filmic Pro does is give you all access to everything that very complicated, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of R&D camera in your iPhone has and does. So it opens it all up. You can do everything. You can do like contrast and white balance and all the simple stuff, and you can do like specialized focus. You can make sure that you will stay focused on something, even if you move the camera or the person is moving or the back. It's like it allows you to take advantage of all the capabilities of these very expensive cameras that these very expensive smartphones have.
Exactly, because a lot of times the app for the camera just really doesn't do it justice, and this just really takes it more than 100 steps further.
Yeah.
It's quite the app. And it's funny how many people don't know about it. Like I said, I found out about it from Andy Jenkins because Andy actually worked in the movie industry. And so that's how I came on to that one. And I love it. I use it all the time. We do a lot of SEO stuff and, just kind of sorting through to determine whether markets are feasible and it makes sense to kind of go further with different ideas. And this is a relatively new SEO keyword app called BIC. That again, it was an AppSumo deal that came out some time ago, and a lot of these tools are extremely expensive, but this one was a great deal, and does a lot of the stuff that a lot of the high-powered tools that we typically see, which I can't remember the name of right at this moment, can do, as far as being able to track your SEO progress. And there is a certain amount of AI built into it to to determine whether certain keywords are worth going after. So just something I kind of threw in. The other one that I was going to mention, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Heather mentioned Answer the Public. And another app that I really like that goes along well with that, maybe, is BuzzSumo. BuzzSumo is great because it lets you go in and see content that actually is shareable and getting shared all over the place. Things that have gone viral and where. And it allows you to basically find stuff that's working and duplicate it. It's a little on the pricey side, but it does its job incredibly well. And I think I want to say that they've actually added some lower priced options recently. Yeah, there is a free one, and then there's like the next step up is $99 a month. But you can actually use the free one to get a fair amount of information just to see some of the things that are being shared in the areas that you work in. So that's what I got for now.
Well, we actually have a few minutes left. All right, I'll jump in with mine. Okay, so I'm putting together this mini course around creativity. It seems like a lot of what we have in the world now kind of wants to switch off your creativity and just keep you scrolling for a few more minutes, or the next video plays automatically kind of stuff. We talked about last week, I think it was last week, when we talked about my capture tool that I made using the Shortcuts app on my phone to make a way to capture. That's the third of the three main concepts, is that you have to have an easy to use, instantly available, frictionless, and totally reliable way to capture your thoughts and ideas throughout the day as you get them. And then, of course, once or twice a week, you go and you look at that sort of long document. Like I look at that long document that it has created for me, and I'm always amazed that there's stuff in there that I do not remember thinking. But obviously I thought it because I put it in there. So another concept is turning ideas into like something in 3D space. And there are two main ways to do that. This is Workflowy. Has anyone on this call ever used Workflowy?
A little bit.
So Workflowy is an outliner tool. Now, when you sort of jump into an outliner tool, it can seem like, okay, it's just a bullet list, which is fine. I can do that in Word. Yes, but no, because how these tools work, a similar one on a similar concept, and I'll get to that craft in a second. Oh, actually, you know what? I should probably share my screen, huh? That would be a good idea.
Probably help.
It would probably help.
Sharing.
So let's look at Workflowy.
That's right.
So it looks like it's just sort of like a bunch of outlines, but really it's just the thing about outliner tools and all of these tools that people use for creativity now, and being able to treat things like they exist as objects instead of ethereal thoughts, is that everything is movable. You can pick them up and drop them. You can attach them to other things. You can detach them from other things. You can drill down into them and make them their own thing. And the idea being that you can now treat these things as if they exist almost in physical space. And so you're not locked in, or they're not just there on a page. You can move them around, you can do stuff, you can drill down into them, you can make your own little wikis out of them. Getting it out of the sort of ephemeral realm and into something where you can manipulate it physically makes a huge difference for being able to not just make sure you get your ideas down, but also come up with new ones. Now, let me see if I can share this. Oh, I guess I don't need BuzzSumo pricing anymore. Let's see what I can share around Windows. Everybody is, I hope, heard of like what mind maps are by now,
Sure.
right? And so for anyone who doesn't, a mind map is, and this is for anyone who's used to using mind maps a lot, this is going to blow your mind. A mind map is just an outline that exists in a visual realm instead of a textual realm. That's it. Mind maps and outliners, outliner tools and mind map tools are the same tool, except the development has forked off in one of two directions. Some, like MindNode, are trying to do both, but it's not nearly as good as an outliner as it is as a mind map. But the point behind a mind map is that everything is a visual piece. You can pick something, you can like pick, okay, well, what about just banana? And then from banana, you start thinking about chimps and smoothies and dessert bread. And then banana for, let's say, size comparison, very heredity. And then once you get the smoothie, you said, okay, well, there's other stuff here. You can use all of it. And then you can start dragging stuff around. Well, this doesn't really belong here, but I would like to put it on the trim. And it'll automatically reconfigure and move stuff. And you can connect stuff. The whole point is all of your ideas, your thoughts, your points of view can be put into a mind map. And it's very fast to start expanding out on all the little branches and then all those little branches and all those little branches until you start seeing a wider picture that was in your head the whole time, but you hadn't really sort of put it together that way. It's very hard to put it together that way and maintain the whole thing unless you're sort of like a Nikola Tesla or Albert Einstein kind of person who can like see all the pieces in detail in their mind. For the rest of us, we get it out into some sort of physical, manipulatable, if that's a word, format, and then we can move it around and change it as much as we want until it works for us. So mind maps, outliners, same tool, same concept, different representation, just a way to manipulate things in real time and in space, so to speak. And then there's one more that I want to show you guys. This is part of a new sort of realm of tools that have come online recently. This is Craft. You might have also heard of Roam or Roam Research and Obsidian. This is a new type of note-taking and research tool as you're sort of, okay, you've read a book or you've seen a movie or you watched a video and you sort of made your notes and stuff. Notion is another one that's sort of similar, but kind of on its own. Craft is a lot more similar to Notion than it is to the others. But here's what these do. These are not really creativity tools per se. You'd be better off with an image-based tool or like MyMind, or else using a mind map, or maybe using an outliner like Wordflowy. But what these do is every single line here is a block. It's its own block, just like every item in the outline was a block, and just like every shape in the mind map was a block. And so you can take things and you can move them around, and which is fine. But then what it lets you do is it makes you create your own little multi-dimensional wiki, like a Wikipedia. So all I did for here is when I was working on this, I clicked on a button that said more content, and I'll show you that in a second. And then it can create another document that's linked to the parent document, but it's not in the up and down linear kind of look for it. And you can have as many connections and links to in a document as you want. So if you want to create something, you see it pops up a little arrow here, and I can make a little tiny one right in here. And now it turns into this. And so I can read it, and it's got a little caption and stuff. But if I click into it, I can have an entire other document that's as long or longer as the original one. So what this does is over time, as you start filling it out with notes and thoughts you had on books and movies and concepts and meetings you had, and meeting notes and all that kind of stuff, you can have a page for every person that you talk to. It builds out what you might have come across the term the second brain, which is sort of a place to put all the stuff that's in your life, in your work, in your business, in your life, so that you don't have to keep it in your head, but in a way where everything is linked together. So I could have a page for Heather and a daily note for today that happened to mention that we did Tools Tuesday. And one of the guests was Heather. And when I typed at Heather, it'll like drop down. I pick the right Heather. And then yet again, when I click on that name, it's going to show all the other stuff that's related to everything I've ever written about Heather in that application. And these are super easy to use, and they're very full featured. They look very simple, but all you do is type in the / and you have all kinds of options for what you're going to put in there. Now, I don't remember what Craft costs. I pay for Craft, so I think it's about $50 a year. This is the web version, but most people would use it on the Apple ecosystem. Roam is quite a bit more expensive. I think it's $15 a month. It's sort of original granddaddy of the whole thing. And Obsidian is free as long as you never need to sync it to another device. And if you want to sync it across devices, then it's, I think, $9 or $10 a month. So those are the three main tools as you're working through your ideas. There's an outliner, which is probably the very fastest one to get a lot of text into, and they all do images and they break it out into like Kanban boards and all that kind of stuff. And then there's mind map tools, which are the same as outliners, except everything is represented visually as pieces instead of text blocks that you drag around. And then there are the wiki backlink based node options like Craft and Obsidian and Roam, and to some degree Notion.
Mm-hmm.
So software's come a long way in just a few years for letting us take our ideas and treat them as objects that we can then manipulate, attach, detach, reorder, and do whatever we want with.
And manipulatable is a word.
Christmas every day.
Yeah, manipulatable is a word.
Well, and I like how it's making it more approachable for more people. The skill level, your technical skill level goes down.
Right.
Each and every year, each and every iteration that folks come out with.
You don't need to know any code or how any of this stuff works on the back end to get immediate benefit from it.
Yeah.
And look at that. We're at the half-hour mark.
I heard that song.
Perfect. Crazy.
Bye.
All right. Thanks.